What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the AZ Sports Podcast, coming at you live today from Oceanside, California. On vacation, but usually when you go on vacation, that's when these things break. And we had a massive, massive deal just happen just a few moments ago. Grayson and Royce O'Neal were traded for Miles Bridges and future draft picks. The Suns did have to give up their coveted 2033 draft pick because people have been valuing Phoenix's late picks for so long because at some point they think Matt Ishbia is going to sell, and then bottom out, and then someone's going to strike gold with a really high draft pick. Now, the NBA draft lottery certainly changes. The draft lottery changes certainly are going to affect the value of draft picks because even if the Suns are really bad, if they finish in the bottom three, they don't get as high of lottery odds in the future as it stands right now. They don't get as high of lottery odds as the teams that finish fourth, fifth, sixth. So, the mechanics for the draft and the value of draft picks certainly changes, and it's going to be interesting to see how that changes trades. But this is what happened. It was reported by Sham Sharania. In addition to Bridges, Phoenix gets a 2029 first round pick and a 2027 second round pick. Charlotte will also get a 2033 first round pick. Bridges was drafted in 2018 and averaged 17 points, 5.8 rebounds, 3.2 assists in 77 games. The Suns had to get rid of at least one of Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen this offseason, and they got rid of both of them, obviously, in this trade. So Allen came in a deal from Milwaukee in the DeAndre Ayton and Yusuf Nurkic trade. And then Royce O'Neal was traded to Phoenix by the Nets a few seasons ago, back in 2033. What the Suns are going to miss in this trade going out is the three-point shooting. Grayson Allen, if we can pull up the list right here. So last year he only shot 35% from three, but the previous two seasons for Phoenix, he shot 46% from three and 42% from three, and the 2 years previous and 40% from three. And he's going to a Charlotte team that likes to get up a lot of threes, so he's going to fit right in. Royce O'Neal didn't come into the league as a three-point shooter, but certainly developed into one. Last season he shot 40% from three. The year before he shot 40% from three. The year before that in Phoenix he shot 37% from three. So not a sharp shooter, but definitely a guy who can fill it up from behind the 3-point line. Both of these guys are on the downward trajectory of their career, and the Suns traded for a guy that's still at the peak or ascending potentially in his career. Probably not ascending. Miles Bridges is probably right where he's going to be for the next few years. But Miles Bridges is a good player. We'll get into the flaws with this trade later. And what it kind of means for the Suns and how you feel about it as a fan. So, let's see. Let's first look at his numbers. So last season he averaged 17, but the previous 3 seasons he averaged 20 points per game. He is a 6'7", 225-pound power forward And he shoots left-handed. So got a lefty on the roster. I don't remember if anyone on the team was a lefty last year. And so it'll get definitely a different look that way. He's a guy, not the greatest 3-point shooter. Let's see what he shot last season. Yeah, 33% from three, 31% from three, 35% from three, 33% from three. In 2021, he shot, let's see, 40% from three, that was 1.8 makes and 4.4 attempts per game. So he has shown the ability to be an okay 3-point shooter, but definitely not a guy that you're going to be relying on to space the floor. But what Miles Bridges is great at, it's playing downhill with his athleticism, something the Suns have desperately needed. Um, but he's also not a playmaker really either. Career average 2.8 assists, 3.2 last year, career high 3.9 the year before. Um, yeah, and so this is a guy, the type of guy that the Suns have needed. It's the type of guy that they were potentially going to trade for a couple years ago, with the Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal Suns era, Suns, but they ultimately did not fire on that because of some off the floor issues. Um, let's see. Let's see. So the unfortunate part about this trade, Miles Bridges, I'm looking this up right now so I can get the story straight. Miles Bridges. So in 2022, Bridges was arrested for felony assault. Um, but in 2024, those three criminal counts were dismissed. Um, let's see. Um, so yeah, so there was uh the domestic violence incident where the mother of his two children accused Bridges of assaulting her in front of the children. Um, and let's see. And he was suspended for 30 games without pay by the NBA after an earlier incident for which he pleaded no contest to. Um, let's see. And then um yeah, so but that was February 13th of 2024. So it's kind of a he said she said. Nothing ever came of it legally. Nothing ever came of it civilly either, I believe. And so it's kind of a difficult spot to be in as a fan because as much as you want this team to do well, sometimes you have to bring on guys with some baggage. And Bridges is definitely a guy with some baggage. But hopefully in Phoenix, he can blossom into a great player that we all want to cheer for and root on, without having that cloud hanging over. It doesn't. Nothing's happened since then, so it seems like everything's in the clear. So as long as there's not any new incidents, this isn't going to come back for Bridges. But but yeah, there's definitely some baggage with this trade. I think Bridges would have been a Sun for the last few years if it weren't for this domestic violence. Because I mean, let's face it, Matt Ishbia, he likes his Michigan State guys just as much as the rest of us do. Don't we? Right? I'm kind of kidding, but I'm kind of not. This is definitely a Suns trade, Suns wheelhouse trade. Because of multiple things. Bridges is a Michigan State guy, a Tom Izzo guy, a guy that Tom Izzo has vouched for, his character and the way he plays. So, um, there's good news there if you believe the word of Tom Izzo. Um, and so it's going to be interesting to see how the Suns play this going forward. This definitely, on paper, makes this Suns team better. Although I am concerned about the future spacing because a lineup of Devin Booker, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Miles Bridges, and Mark Williams, who the Suns just re signed recently, by the way. A lineup of those five guys, none of those guys have ever shot over 40% from three in their career. None of those guys are like lights out shooters. So, how the Suns find spacing around those guys is going to be very interesting. It means Devin Booker and Jalen Green are really going to have to take steps forward as shooters. It means Dylan Brooks is going to have a similar season to what he had last year from behind the 3 point line, which was being pretty consistent from three, despite not having the prettiest shooting form. Uh, it means that Colin Gillespie is going to have to play really well. Jordan Goodwin's going to have to play really well. So as far as the roster goes, it feels like it's pretty much set. But the Suns just traded away two out of their three best shooters on the roster. So they're going to need to go out and try and find guys, whether it's vet minimums or maybe they re-signed Kobe Brea and he plays a much bigger role. It doesn't seem like the Suns are super. Uh, if the Suns really thought he was an NBA player, they'd probably be doing more to bring him back or already re-signed him. So they're gonna have to bring in some shooting. That's their biggest area that they need to improve right now. But they have the size and the physicality to compete with anyone in the West. Um, with that, not necessarily talent wise, they're still well below where they probably need to be talent wise going forward. But this is a huge step for the team going in the right direction and building around Devin Booker's third act as a Phoenix Suns. The first act, the first 5 years, was a sham. It was awful. The second 5 years was really, really good until the Kevin Durant thing bottomed out. And now we're on to act three of Devin Booker's career, where he's the sole lead of the franchise. He's the vet now. They're bringing in young guys, or they're bringing in young guys to build around him. And so the Suns are gonna have to figure out something to get shooting around these guys because it's not gonna happen all by themselves. Sorry guys, ooh, my back is on fire right now. So yeah, great trade by the Phoenix Suns. They switched picks 2029 and 2033. I don't believe any of those are protected. Holding the mic uh so I could only type with one hand. Um let's see. Let's see. And just real quick for the Hornets, I think it's a decent trade for the Hornets too because they add more shooting. It seemed like Miles Bridges in he was always in trade talks for multiple seasons, and so um, they finally got a trade together and got value back for it, and so um, and a good thing for the Suns, that Yahoo Sports points out is that the Suns will save $20 million in luxury taxes with the trade while also making a roster spot available before NBA free agent ESPN. Bridges will be an unrestricted free agent after this season, so the Suns are going to have to decide pretty quickly, do we want to extend him? Do we want to re-sign him? I think if they traded Grayson and Royce O'Neal for him, you have to extend this guy. I think you just have to extend this guy. And so it'll be interesting to see what the Suns decide to do going forward. I think you have to extend Miles Bridges. You went out and you re-signed Mark Williams for 3 seasons, and it was kind of a similar position last year where he had 1 year left on his deal. The Hornets didn't want to extend him, so they traded him away to get back guys under contract for longer. And the Suns uh, took on a guy and said, "Hey, either you prove it to us that you're worth an extension, or they might just extend Bridges before he plays a second in a Phoenix Suns uniform. This definitely also adds to the Suns. Um, this also adds to the Suns' identity. Bridges is a guy who does not back down from a fight in the NBA. As we saw last year in the Pistons Hornets brawl, he was in the middle of that. Brooks is obviously always a guy who likes to talk. Booker, he doesn't really start stuff, but if guys talk, he'll talk back, and he'll get in some shouting matches for sure. And yeah, so this certainly adds an identity of toughness and grit and kind of nastiness. There's going to be some nastiness for the Suns team, and another thing that I'm going to enjoy as a fan personally is watching Miles Bridges go and dunk on some people. I'm sure Kevin Ray is right now working up some ways to accentuate the boom room for Bridges, or maybe he'll build a room in the Suns facility called the Miles Bridges boom room for how many dunks he's gonna be getting with the Suns this season. So that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick podcast. Hoping to podcast sometime this week soon as well, because I'm on vacation. But the Diamondbacks continue to struggle on offense, and I guess with NBA free agency starting tomorrow and an open roster spot, they could already have someone lined up to come in and get that open roster spot. You never know with this team. Uh, Sunday morning, they're making a trade while you're doing family pictures, and everything just spirals from there. So, go Suns. I'll see you next time.